This is our Blade electric motorcycle. It's a lithium-ion powered electric bike. Has a power level similar to about a 200cc motorcycle. What you're seeing now is the evolution, maybe 6 years of evolution of this basic product. It started as more of a mountain bike based cycle, and it's since gotten heavier and stronger. A lot of our customers would ride the bikes really hard. They'd be jumping them and taking them off, getting big air on them, and they'd bend them and break them. So we'd make this part stronger, then we'd make the next part stronger, and eventually it gained about 75 pounds from the original bike, but now it's much more rugged and heavy duty. You can jump at 50 or 60 feet if you're the type of person that would be willing to do that. A lot of the components now, like our wheels, used to be off of mountain bikes. These are a small motorcycle wheel, and that kind of sets the stage for how strong the whole bike is. Obviously, if you've got a big heavy bike and you've got a weak wheel, your wheel's going to fail if you push it too hard. So we've got much stronger wheels now, and because we had stronger wheels, it allowed us to beef everything up. The bike has got a range of approximately 70 to 80 miles, top speed of about 45 miles an hour. It'll go 0 to 45 in about 3.5 to 4 seconds. It'll wheelie and it'll do stoppies and all those fun motorcycle things that us motorcycle enthusiasts love to do. Don't try it on a public street. It's got this particular suspension on this bike is from Sweden. It's made by a company called Öhlins. It's probably one of the best suspensions in the world. It's a little overkill for your average environmental commuter. So we've got another model of this bike that we're going to be releasing that has a much downgraded suspension, a little cheaper brakes, a little cheaper wheels. This bike, as it sits right here today, is probably going to end up retailing in the U.S. for almost $10,000. Our cheaper model will probably retail for about $7,000. It's still pretty expensive for a motorcycle of this size, but the lithium batteries are really expensive, and that's the biggest challenge in terms of keeping the cost of the product down. Most of the motorcycle parts that we use we buy them fairly cost effectively. They're not all that expensive. The electric motors are sort of spendy. The electronics that control it are sort of spendy. But mainly the batteries are the biggest challenge when it comes to trying to keep the price down. And I would love to sell this bike for $4,000, which would make it comparable with a gas bike, but we simply can't do it. So, our biggest challenge as a company is clearly to get the price of the product down to where more people could buy it, and that just takes time. You can't sell it at a loss because you'll go out of business. So we just have to wait until we're able to reduce the price. And we've found that there's enough early adopters, people that are willing to spend extra money for a sort of novel or unique product that we can keep the lights on, so to speak. One good analogy I used to use: the bike that we used to make that had lead acid batteries. It effectively had a gas tank that held about half a gallon of gas, which isn't very much. And this bike holds, effectively about 2.5 to 3 gallons of gas. So that's pretty much a normal-sized gas tank, and that's pretty huge to a manufacturer to be able to say that your electric-powered product, is comparable to some gasoline product. I spent a lot of my years apologizing for the limited range of the vehicle, and it's just good to see that the technology has moved forward enough that we can start to really put it head to head with a gas bike and not have to apologize.
Do you anticipate ever making any models that are feminine friendly?
Well, if you look right behind you, you'll see a carcass of another bike I used to make, which is the feminine-friendly Cutaway. This was a scooter that I built for a company. I designed and built. We made about 200 of these. There's a company down in Los Angeles, and it was a pretty good product. It was It was a scooter. It was covered with plastic. You're seeing the raw carcass here, but this was all plastic, and it was pretty cool looking. It was called the Viento. It was a pretty good bike. Very dependable. It used basically golf cart technology. It's kind of hard to see, but there's a motor in there. There's an electronic controller on the other side that's embedded into the frame. In these little areas right here were batteries. There was 1, 2, 3 batteries in this bike. It was a large 12-volt battery, so 3 of those made it a 36-volt system. This bike would go about 35 miles an hour. We were trying to keep it within the scope of a moped classification, I believe. No, I think it was called a light electric vehicle or something like that. There was a classification in California that we sort of designed it to, and it was designed to fill that need. It's sort of like a student, a bike that a student would use. And the thing was an absolute workhorse. You could put 2 people on this. You had buddy pegs. This was the passenger peg here, and there was the regular foot peg was right here. And you could put 2 people on this bike, and it would climb. We took it to San Francisco and tested it, and there wasn't a hill there we couldn't climb with 2 people on it. It was really quite a vehicle. I mean, with no great surprise, it's got a golf cart motor in it. It should climb a hill like a golf cart, and it did. So this is the woman-friendly version, and yeah.